The arena lights dimmed slowly, but the energy inside the building only intensified. Thousands of fans rose to their feet, sensing they were about to witness something more than a boxing match, something historic. The heavyweight division had always been boxing's crown jewel, and tonight it revolved around two men whose careers had followed dramatically different paths. On one side stood Mike Tyson, once the most feared man in sports. Explosive, ruthless, intimidating. His knockouts had become folklore. Opponents often looked beaten before the first punch was thrown. Tyson's aura was built on destruction, compact power, violent combinations, and a swarming style that overwhelmed challengers within minutes. On the other side stood Evander Holyfield, calm, composed, methodical. He wasn't the biggest heavyweight. He wasn't the most naturally gifted puncher. But he possessed something equally dangerous: discipline, endurance, and an unshakable belief in himself. Holyfield was a strategist inside chaos. Where Tyson sought to intimidate, Holyfield sought to outthink. As they entered the ring, the contrast was visible even before gloves touched. Tyson paced like a caged predator, eyes cold, shoulders tense, head bobbing slightly as if already slipping imaginary punches. Holyfield stood tall in his corner, breathing steadily, his expression focused rather than emotional. When the referee gave final instructions, "Protect yourself at all times," it felt symbolic. This wasn't just a reminder of rules. It was a warning. Round 1, the test of nerves. The bell rang. Tyson exploded forward instantly. No feeling out process. No patience. A quick right hand shot toward Holyfield's head, followed by a hook to the body. The crowd roared. This was the Tyson they remembered. But Holyfield did something unexpected. He didn't retreat wildly. He didn't clinch immediately. He stood his ground and answered back with a firm jab to the chest. Not flashy. Not dramatic. But purposeful. It disrupted Tyson's rhythm. Tyson fired another straight right, one he didn't typically rely on, but Holyfield leaned slightly away and countered with a short left hook. The punch didn't hurt Tyson physically, but it sent a message. Intimidation would not win this fight. Holyfield began stepping closer during exchanges, smothering Tyson's inside power. Most fighters feared Tyson's close-range combinations. Holyfield chose to invade that space deliberately, tying up Tyson's arms and forcing him to reset. The crowd sensed something different. Tyson wasn't steamrolling. He was thinking. And Tyson, at his most dangerous, was instinctive, not calculating. Round 2, strategy revealed. Tyson came out with renewed aggression. Hooks to the body. A sharp right upstairs. Holyfield absorbed, blocked, rolled with punches. Then, counter. A straight left hand that snapped Tyson's head back slightly. It was subtle but significant. Holyfield wasn't throwing single desperate shots. He was punching in combinations, 1, 2, 3, and stepping away at angles. Tyson swung wide with a left hook. Missed. Holyfield answered with a quick right uppercut inside. The pattern was forming. Tyson's offense was explosive but scattered. Holyfield's was measured and precise. Midway through the round, Tyson landed a heavy body shot that made Holyfield step back briefly. The crowd erupted again. But instead of panicking, Holyfield circled, reset his stance, and jabbed his way back into range. He wasn't fighting emotionally. He was executing a plan. Round 3, momentum shifts. By the third round, the fight had transformed from intimidation into competition. Tyson's punches still carried danger, but Holyfield's confidence was visibly growing. He began throwing combinations after Tyson missed, capitalizing on defensive openings. A powerful right hand from Holyfield landed clean over the top. Tyson blinked. The blink mattered. For years, Tyson had been the hunter. Now briefly he was reacting. Holyfield dug a hook to the body, then came upstairs with a straight right. Tyson attempted to respond with a flurry, but Holyfield slipped and tied him up inside, draining seconds from the clock. The psychological balance was changing. Tyson was breathing heavier. Holyfield looked sharper. The fight was becoming something Tyson rarely experienced. A battle of attrition. Round 4, the inside war. The fourth round became brutal. Tyson tried to reclaim control by working inside. Short hooks. Body shots. Quick bursts. But Holyfield matched him punch for punch in tight quarters. A right uppercut from Holyfield lifted Tyson's head slightly. Another combination followed, not devastating but scoring. Tyson's frustration showed for the first time. He swung hard with a looping left. Holyfield blocked it with his shoulder and countered immediately. The crowd shifted audibly, cheers growing louder for Holyfield. Tyson was not being bullied. He was being neutralized. Round 5, power versus precision. Tyson landed a thunderous body shot early in the fifth that momentarily forced Holyfield backward. It was the kind of punch that had ended fights in the past. For a second, momentum seemed ready to swing. But Holyfield survived the surge. He clinched smartly. He jabbed on exit. He forced Tyson to punch air during wild exchanges. Then came a sharp right hand from Holyfield that snapped Tyson's head back again. And another. The champion's confidence was rising. Tyson's pace began to look frantic rather than controlled. Round 6, the first crisis. Midway through the sixth, Holyfield landed a crushing combination, a right hand followed by a hook, that staggered Tyson. The arena exploded. Tyson tried to fire back, but his punches lacked the earlier snap. Holyfield sensed the moment and pressed forward with disciplined aggression, not reckless but assertive. A final flurry drove Tyson backward. And then it happened. Tyson hit the canvas. The knockdown stunned everyone. For years, Tyson had been the destroyer. Now he was rising from the floor, blinking, gathering himself. The bell saved him moments later. But the narrative had changed forever. When the bell rang to begin round 7, the atmosphere had changed completely. 6 rounds earlier, Tyson had walked forward as the feared destroyer of the heavyweight division. Now he rose from his stool with swelling around his eye and a new reality settling in. This was not going to be a short night. Across the ring, Holyfield stood with calm intensity. The knockdown in the sixth wasn't just 2 points on the scorecards. It was psychological confirmation. His strategy was working. Round 7, confidence versus frustration. Tyson tried to reset his identity. He came out weaving, looking to explode with combinations. A left hook whistled past Holyfield's head. A right hand thudded into the guard. But Holyfield was no longer reacting cautiously. He was dictating. Each time Tyson missed, Holyfield answered. Short combinations. Sharp counters. Controlled aggression. He slipped to the side and fired a right uppercut inside that jolted Tyson backward. The crowd felt it. Tyson wasn't stalking anymore. He was searching. Frustration crept into his movements. His punches were thrown with effort, but without the rhythm that once defined him. Holyfield's composure never cracked. Round 8, the war of endurance. Heavyweight boxing is often about power. But championship fights are about endurance. Tyson's style depended on early destruction. His explosive bursts drained energy quickly. Against lesser opponents it didn't matter. Against Holyfield it did. Round 8 became a grinding battle. Tyson attempted to push forward, digging to the body, but Holyfield absorbed and answered back upstairs. Holyfield's jab became a weapon now, not flashy but disruptive. It kept Tyson from planting his feet. It forced resets. Then came a clean right hand from Holyfield. Tyson stumbled half a step. Not a knockdown, but a message. The bully was being outworked. Round 9, the shift becomes clear. By the 9th round, the fight had evolved into something symbolic. Tyson still had power, dangerous power, but Holyfield had timing. Tyson lunged with a big left hook. Missed. Holyfield countered with a crisp right-left combination. Landed. Tyson tried to respond with a flurry, but Holyfield tied him up, leaned on him, forced him to carry weight. These small tactics drained seconds and energy. The camera would have shown Tyson's face, no longer cold and expressionless but tense. Searching. Holyfield, meanwhile, looked sharper with each passing minute. Round 10, the champion's heart. Tyson made one more surge in the 10th. He fired a heavy right to the body, then came upstairs with a hook. The crowd roared, sensing a possible shift. Holyfield absorbed it. And then he responded. A straight right hand landed flush. A left hook followed. Then an uppercut inside that snapped Tyson's head back. It was no longer about single punches. Holyfield was stringing them together, 3, 4, 5 at a time. Tyson's legs looked heavier. His shoulders tighter. Holyfield stepped forward with controlled fury. For the first time in years, Mike Tyson looked vulnerable. Round 11, the end approaches. Championship rounds define greatness. Holyfield entered the 11th knowing he was ahead. But he didn't fight like a man protecting a lead. He fought like a man finishing a statement. Tyson attempted one more aggressive rush. He swung wide, trying to land something dramatic. Holyfield slipped. Countered. Right hand. Left hook. Right uppercut. The combination staggered Tyson visibly. The crowd rose to its feet. Holyfield pressed forward with disciplined aggression. Not wild, not reckless, but precise. He pinned Tyson near the ropes and unleashed another series of clean punches. Tyson fired back instinctively, but the accuracy belonged to Holyfield. Another right hand landed. Tyson's legs betrayed him. The referee stepped in. It was over. The conclusion? More than a victory. The arena erupted. Not just in celebration, but in disbelief. The man once considered unbeatable had been dismantled not by brute force, but by discipline, strategy, and resilience. Evander Holyfield didn't just win the fight. He changed the narrative of heavyweight boxing. For years, Tyson had ruled through intimidation. Opponents lost before they entered the ring. But Holyfield proved something powerful. Fear can be neutralized. Power can be countered. Legends can be tested. Holyfield's performance was a masterclass in composure under pressure. He refused to be bullied. He refused to panic. He absorbed, adapted, and executed. That night, the real deal wasn't just a nickname. It was a declaration. Tyson, to his credit, showed heart. He never stopped trying. He absorbed punishment that would have broken many fighters. But this was a different level of challenge, one that required patience as much as power. In the end, it wasn't just about knockdowns or scorecards. It was about belief. Evander Holyfield believed he could win when few others did. And under the brightest lights, against the most feared heavyweight of his era, he proved it.